Can you guess what an average immigrant thinks about the moment they step their feet into the UK ground? Yes, your guess is as good as mine. Today they will get their indefinite leave to remain, and the moment it's time to apply, I bet you will be buzzing. Right, that's why I've thought, okay, how about we do a video on this? I mean, people say, why do you bother? We've got the information online. Yes, we know we've got the information online, but there are so many people who would appreciate someone who's gone through the process before, to stand before them, sit before them, and have a discussion on how they can apply, for their indefinite leave to remain in this, instance. Right, I will be talking about the price, the process, should you apply yourself or get a lawyer, pitfalls you should avoid, and so much more. I will be making this video a series. Right, that's it. Let's get straight into the video. Right, first, what is indefinite leave to remain? It is how you settle in the UK, and is often called settlement. It gives you the right to live, work, and study as you like, and also apply for benefits as they may, apply to you. And you know what? It is the ILR that precedes your British citizenship. There are different ways to apply for an indefinite leave to remain depending on your route of entry into the UK or your circumstance generally. So I'll just run through the routes or the ways, to apply for an indefinite leave to remain. Then I'll come back to dwell on, the category of people that I want to talk about today. Right, so who are the category of people? Number one, if you're a tier 1 visa holder, you only need to wait for about 2 to 3 years before you apply for your indefinite leave to remain. If you've come on a visa we call the talented or global talent visa, then it is 3 years for you. And you will find that other categories of visa holders, like those on the tier 2 or now called the skilled worker visa, those on the scaled up visa, would normally wait for at least 5 years of their stay in the UK before applying for an indefinite leave to remain. Whereas people that are Turkish worker or business representatives, or those we call the overseas business visa holders, have their own arrangements as well. And last but not the least are those that hold the tier 4 student visa. If you're on a tier 4 student visa, it is 10 years of being on a tier 4 visa before you can apply for an ILR, or to be fair, it's a bit long. So what some people do is they either from tier 4 switch to tier 2 as quickly as they can. I mean, I know we've got the post-study visa you can apply for. Number one, is expensive. Number two, it doesn't count, at the moment, it doesn't count towards your, ILR. So that is why people are trying to avoid that route for those that have come in through the student route. So it's best before your student visa, runs out, to find a job that can employ you. Look for their eligibility criteria and then begin to work towards them before your tier 4 visa runs out. That way you can move from tier 4 to tier 2. I've only just realized I haven't introduced myself. My name is Olubukola Akimolayo Okuntele. I'm a registered nurse. I live and work in the UK. I haven't said that. I'll mention quickly. People often ask, so after I've got my indefinite leave to remain, what happens to my husband who was on my visa before? What happens to my children that I gave birth to here or that I brought from back home to the UK? What happens? What kind of visa do they get on? Do they get their ILR immediately? These are things that I will be talking about on this channel. Please stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel. Using just the tier 2 and the tier 4 visa route as an example only in this video. This is what happens when it is time to apply. Number one, you're allowed to apply 28 days before your 5 years hits, especially if you cannot wait. So just leave this tier 2 visa alone, because there are so many opportunities people are looking forward to once they get their indefinite leave to remain. They want to start a business, they want to leave the job they are currently on, they want this, they want that, and all of that. So yes, a month before you're okay to apply, you're covered to apply. Right, checklist quickly. What do you need as a checklist to begin to tick as you get on from maybe today you entered the UK today, or you're planning to come to the UK today, or you're already in the UK? Number one checklist is your time in the UK, your time spent in the UK, something they call continuous residence. Right, so the way it works is if you are expected to stay 5 years as an example altogether in the UK, of course you go home to say hi to your family back in India, back in Ghana, Nigeria, but you're not expected to spend more than 180 days, that's 180 days in any 12-month period. So 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, that's 12 months in 5 places, that's 5 years as an example. You're not expected, whether you do it as a chunk or whether you do it divided, in any stretch of a 12-month period, you're not allowed to spend more than 180 days out. So please bear this in mind when you go out to travel to get things done. What happens if you've spent more than 180 days in any of the 12-month period and make up your 5 years? That year is disqualified. Then you wait another extra year and fulfill that rule. That's point number one. Right, number two is your financial requirements. You're expected to earn a minimum salary to be able to qualify. So for those on the tier 2 visa, or now called the skilled worker visa, you're expected to be paid a minimum of £25,600 per annum, or £10.10 per hour, or the going rate for whatever work that you do. Either of these options is what you expected, or you expected to be earning for you to qualify in this category. However, there are some roles like the healthcare jobs, education system, where the going rate or this factor doesn't apply to you, simply because the going rate is based on the national pay scale, what we call agenda for change and things like that in the NHS. Number two, if your job is on the shortage occupation list, you are fine. Number three, when can you be paid lesser than these £25,600 that we've talked about? It is when you earn an annual salary of £20,480, because by the time you divide it, you're expected to earn £10.10 per hour. So whichever applies to you. Before we move on to the next point, I wonder if it's worth mentioning that those that are called sports person, they're on the T2 sports person visa, their own minimum payment per annum is £35,800. Another thing to mention under this checklist is a valid passport. Because this application could take up to 6 months, I would advise that you have at least 6 month validity on your passport that you hold. That's your own national passport. The other thing is the Life in UK test. Now, the Life in UK test is compulsory, and I've got a story to share, and that's why I've just decided I'll make this video a series. So there are other ones to come, and I'll try to roll them all out together. So the Life in UK test you can do at any point in time you enter the UK, whether you're on a tier 2 visa, tier 5 visa, tier 4 visa. There's nothing like a tier 10 visa. Tier 4 visa, you can do it when you feel like you're ready. I will give you a breakdown of how I prepared and I passed, my pitfalls, some things I should have avoided. A very funny day. Oh my god, you know what, we'll get to it. I won't digress too much. So the Life in UK test is another thing. I mean, you may feel, I've only just entered, I've still got 2 years to go, I've still got 4.5 years to go, I don't think I'm ready yet. I mean, if you try, maybe on days that you're on annual leave, you read. On days that you're free, you read, and you feel, okay, I think I'm beginning to get the answers. You can still do it and get it out of the way, and that way you have the certificate ready. The price and everything is what I will be talking about. Commonly asked questions I will be talking about, because you'll be surprised. Let me not let the cat out of the bag just yet. Right, the other thing that you need to get ready under this checklist section is an English requirement. So for English requirement, for those of you that studied in the UK, you can present your university certificate. Of course, you were taught in English. You may need an English test if you don't have a certificate. Just to mention that for the English test, you can use any of the providers. I mean, when you mention or when you type English language test for ILR online, you may get so many answers, and you're thinking which one is expected, which one is the correct one. Actually, there are 4 CELT providers. That's 4 SELT providers, and they are accredited, and I'll put their names on the screen. The Trinity College London, IELTS, SELT, that's IELTS CELT Consortium, Language Sets, Person Education Limited. You can use either or. Whatever certificate you get from them is valid. Just to mention that if you're from an English speaking country and your country is listed as the English speaking countries, that are allowed in the UK, you do not have to sit for this test. And I think I forgot to mention earlier, for the Life in UK test, you're not expected to do a Life in UK test if you are above 64 years old or if you are below 18 years old. If there's any question popping into your mind as I've been talking, as you've been watching, would you please put it in the comment section? Have you got any addition based on what you've read as well, what you've listened to as well, based on your experience as well? Would you please put all of these ideas, recommendations, additions in the comment section? Right, so the other thing you would need to submit is your biometric residence permit. That's the card you have, whether the student one or the tier 2 one. You've got to submit it as well. Now, they do not ask for hard copies of any of these things. It is often the soft copy that is required that you will upload, and I'll show you at that point. That will be the next video, how I applied for mine. Did I do it myself? Did I use an agent? Did I wish I did it one way or the other? Right, so there are schools of thought that say that you may need an evidence of where you live. I'm trying to remember now. I do not think I put our own title of deed for the house we live in, or maybe for those that are still in rentals. I do not think you necessarily need to put your landlord tenancy agreement and all of that. If you put it all well and good, you will find some lawyers say it's good to put it, but I didn't put anything of such in my own application. Right, something just popped into my mind. For those that have traveled outside of the UK, and of course they've stayed within the 180 days maximum, in any 12 months rule, and they're wondering, how do I prove this? Yes, there's a section where you will write all the times that you exited the UK, where you went to, and the times or the days you spent or months you spent. There are provisions, there are lines for you to fill all of those things in. If you have any evidence, it is best to put, I plan to say this in the next video, but I might as well at this point, it is best to add every evidence you can add, like your ticket, your to and fro ticket, flight ticket, your annual leave approval. Another thing you've got to provide, which is highly recommended, is a proof of your continuous stay in the UK. So all the other times that you've then said you've been in the UK, it's best to supply a utility bill, tenancy agreement, something to show, statement of accounts. Of course, you submit your statement of accounts while proving the financial bit anyway. Something to show that indeed, you've been in the UK, you've been paying bills or something like that, just to cover that part, for you. Did I submit this? The answer is no, but it's actually recommended. So can I say at this point as well that regarding ILR application, there are some things some people tell you they submitted and you probably did not submit, and you both got it, like you both got the ILR, and it could be the other way around as well. So I would rather be overqualified and submit as many things as possible, in as much as everything tallies, than be found wanting. The good thing is, if they need more, they would ask more. For instance, they asked for my pay slip, so a pay slip to correlate my statement of accounts, and I sent it to them. They gave me 10 days to submit, and I submitted it immediately anyway. So they would ask you, but I mean, if you submit it as extra, so it's often best. So if you can submit pay slips, if you are printing your statement of accounts for 3 months, which is advisable, 3 to 6 months, 3 months is allowed, 6 months is also allowed. Maybe anything more, no please. So you can also submit pay slips for those periods, but if you don't, do not worry, they will ask you. But I would rather, so if you're applying alongside at the same time as somebody else, say your partner came the same day as you did, because remember, the way you are qualified for your ILR, because you've waited 10 years or 5 years, your partner may not be, if they haven't waited their own time. So you don't apply together. No, so they have to wait for their own time. But if for whatever reason you both came in together and it's time to apply together, you need to prove that yes indeed, or maybe your child, whoever in that category that needs to apply with you, you need to prove that indeed you know them. Birth certificate, the documents you used for your dependent application, marriage certificate, and everything like that. The other thing to mention quickly is any changes to your name, your circumstance, you need to show the proof of it. I've changed my name from Maxwell something to Osborne. The other thing, you've got to show all of them proofs. Remember that they probably have your old document with your old name on, so ensure that you put as many proof as possible. Right, and I think basically these are the necessary things. Whilst filling the form, some things will pop up. For instance, they would ask, have you committed any criminal offense? And sometimes, as an example, when you look at it, driving faults or penalties like speeding, you know, when you read some articles, it would say it's a criminal offense, some would say it's not. But because I was confused, I just added it to say yes, I've gotten a speed ticket before, a speeding ticket before, and I showed evidence of the course I went for because I was provided the option to go for a course, the driving, what's that course called? So I went for the course. I showed evidence of an email showing that I paid for the course, and that email from the provider of the course to show that I've indeed attended the course. I provided it. It may not be required this day, but like I said, if it pops to your head that it is necessary to put because your own circumstance is unique to you, and somebody said, oh, I didn't put it in my own, I would probably go with my gut feelings and put it. So those are the basic checklists. We'll be going into the nitty-gritty because like I said, when you begin to fill the form, that some things then begin to unravel. So we'll go into the nitty-gritty in the next video. I'll be showing you everything I did. The price, well, it's at the moment is £2,404. When I did mine, it was £2,409.80. So they've reduced it by what, £5.80. So and some other things I want to talk about, like if you give birth to your child whilst you're on ILR, what they would do, or you give birth to them after British citizenship, what happens to them, what's the process. These are everything or things I plan to talk about in my videos on this channel. I think I should end this now because I do not want the video to be overly long, or rather I have, you know, the next topic to discuss the other bits and bobs. Thank you so much for watching till the end. My name is Olubukola Akimolayo Ogundele. I'm a registered nurse, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a vlogger, content creator, I try. So if any of my content interests you, I've done videos for nurses on revalidation, how to move from your country, wherever your country is, into the UK, and the process. I've done so many videos, side hustles and so on, just name it. If you go through my list of videos, you can like some of them, you can subscribe them, you can please share them, and please subscribe to my channel. Till I see you in the next one. Thanks for watching this one till the end. Have I missed any parts? I feel like I may have missed some bits and bobs. I will add them to the next video, this I can guarantee you. But this is just a video telling you the general overview of what is expected of you, you know, before you apply for your indefinite leave to remain. That's all for now. Till I see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye. I don't want to leave, but I've got to. Bye.